Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. Today we're starting out in the blaze spawner that I built in the last episode, and you might notice it is looking a little different. I've decided to do a little bit of decorating, and I'm honestly not sure that I like this quite yet. There's just something kind of too boxy about it, and I kind of want to make the farm a little bit more interesting. I also don't have a really great place to stand an AFK in view of both of the spawners, which is something I really want to change. But if I pillar up with this nether brick here, like so, you can see that spawner is spinning, you can see that spawner is spinning. The blazes themselves are just harmlessly sat inside of the glass boxes, and if we go down here, I have a nifty little switch hooked up, which now activates all of the flying machines. And I'll go into exactly how that works in a moment, but it's just a matter of sending the redstone signal to each of the flying machine stoppers at once and turning them all on, or turning them all off, I guess, because turning them on is what stops the machines. You get the idea. Anyway, the problem I'm having with this now is one with the killing chamber downstairs. Aside from the aesthetics of the place, which is still something I want to tinker with a little bit, we've got some of the black glazed terracotta around here, some black concrete in the floor, and I decided to move a little bit of concrete powder in here as well to kind of darken the back of those so that you can see the blazes even more brightly as you are AFKing here and chilling. The problem with this right now is the killing chamber, because right now there's a problem with blazes. I'm not gonna lie. There's a problem with the way blazes behave, and I have a couple of solutions for this today that I want to try out, but it's going to be a bit more of an experimental episode, I think. So when the blazes get pushed into the thing, they drift down here into this L-shaped platform, and my first thought really is that the L-shaped platform is kind of a problem, because the unfortunate thing is when you move around this thing, you get to certain angles like this one, and any blazes that are over there can spot me. And you notice when they light up with fire like that, even though they can't actually hit me because the slab is here, even though the fireballs kind of render through the slabs, whenever they light up with fire, they aggro on you, and they've spotted you, and they start to hurl fireballs at you, which kind of, you know, obscures them as they stand on the platform. But the other problem is that when blazes aggro, when they spot a player, they try and get to a slightly higher position, and they end up floating to the top of the machine. So at that point, there are some blazes up there that I can't even see that are aggroed on me, and they won't come down and be killed. Furthermore, what this does is actually aggro any new blazes that are coming through the system, and it doesn't necessarily work unless they are spawned in at the same time that another blaze is angry at me. It's kind of like zombie pigmen in a way. If one of them is aggroed at you, they have this kind of pack mentality where any new pigmen in the area will start to follow you. And thankfully, it doesn't seem to have happened with the blazes this time around, but just occasionally, even though this whole system is sealed off and there aren't any gaps in it anywhere, the blazes who are newly generating in the spawner will also be mad at me, which means they float up to the top of the room here, they can't be gathered by the slime block flying machines, and they end up, you know, being missed out by the system. And then the same thing happens all over again, because I'll go down here, try and kill a couple. If any have made them their way down into the system, they come over here, they spot me, and they instantly, like, start getting mad and start flying up. So one of the things I want to do today is to either try and figure out a way that the blazes can be trapped in here so they don't float up, and potentially so they don't pass the aggro on to their other blaze friends who are generating. Alternatively, set up this whole area so that the blazes can't see me no matter what I do, and even attacking them doesn't cause their aggro. Or, alternatively, there's another option, actually limit the area that they are pushed into a single or two blocks, somewhere that I can kind of completely isolate it, and then they won't be able to see me, like, when I'm swiping at them from this range. That's my hope, is that we can at least get one of those three options down, so the blazes either don't aggro on me at all, they get aggro but they can't go anywhere and they don't pass that aggro on to other people, or we limit the area that they're standing in up until the point where we can just swipe at them without them getting mad at all. Now, on the plus side, it does mean that I've got a lot of blaze rods now. In fact, I have more blaze rods than I currently know what to do with, although I do plan on using blaze rods as a fuel in some of my blacksmiths. When we build the second blacksmith, or maybe the third or fourth blacksmith, depending on when we build it, the second one I've got in my head anyway, We're going to use blaze rods as fuel. We've got them in the potions chest here. We've got them in the mob drops chest down here. All of the furnaces down here and this little chest are currently stocked full of blaze rods. So it's actually really useful to have them around as fuel. Not to mention blazes are a decent source of XP. I haven't really been able to use it as an XP farm yet, just because I want to be confident that we're not going to get attacked by blazes or end up losing the blazes into the system when they aggro on me. But it's a start, and I think that's going to be kind of useful to have going forward. So here is solution number 1, limiting the amount of me the blazes can see thanks to slabs and iron trapdoors. It's actually possible for a player to walk underneath trapdoors even if they're like impeding on the player's hitbox a little bit. That's my hitbox there, and yeah, it's just kind of just underneath where the iron trapdoors are. Even though I'm standing on a floor of blocks here, and there are slabs there, I'm still a little bit worried about this angle in particular. Like, if I move too close to this, I'm pretty sure that there is a space in which a blaze could see me. But if we just kind of casually walk around here like this, I'm wondering if the blazes are actually going to be able to spot me from that angle. So I'm going to turn the flying machines on. We're going to AFK here for a little bit, get some blazes in there, and let's see if we get any results. Okay, that should be long enough. I've been AFK for a couple of minutes. Let's switch the machines off first. And it's very important to switch the machines off before you leave the area, by the way, because flying machines totally break when the chunks unload. They'll stop completely. A lot of the time, the redstone mechanism will actually jam together, and the slime blocks will connect, and then you'll need to completely remake the whole thing. Now let's take a quick look at this. Are any of the blazes seeing me as I walk around this area? It doesn't look like they are. As long as I stay back against the wall, we're not seeing them lighting up. I mainly want to get line of sight with one that's just over there, because yeah, they're certainly moving around a little bit because they're bumping against each other thanks to the mob physics. This is actually a valid solution. This actually works really well. Oh, I'm so happy. Because I was a little bit worried at first that we were going to have to resort to slightly more complex measures. And I expect that still, if I got up this close to the platform, then maybe we would have a few problems, so that there might be a more elegant solution to this. But for now, I think this is worthwhile. I think this is actually a really good solution for it. That's just one test, though. That's not necessarily conclusive. So I'm going to try AFKing for a little while longer, generate a few more blazes for the system, and then we'll see if this works as a valid XP farm. Okay, judging by the drop in frames I'm getting and the amount of jitter that I'm seeing, it's probably not coming across on the video, but believe me, my screen is a little bit jittery, and that is probably because we have a ton of blazes down here. So let me put my pickaxe into my other hand, and let's see if we can get a decent amount of XP from this blaze farm. But no, it looks like they've actually seen me, and that one actually managed to fireball me through the gap in the slabs. So if anything, this solution might not have worked out so great after all, which is a real shame, because I was really hoping to be done with that for this episode. Maybe we need to try something else. And by the way, one of the things I want to do when decorating this is make sure that the floor space doesn't have spawnable space for any other nether mobs. I mean, zombie pigmen are inevitable in the nether unless you slab everything over, which could be an option for this area, I will admit, although it limits our decorative possibilities somewhat. But yeah, having ghasts or magma cubes or whatever spawn in here is not my preferred idea of how a spawner should work. I mean, we should contain the spawns, if nothing else. So yeah, we might have to do a little bit of redecorating, but it's probably time to try and revise this. I think the problem really is this bit here. Standing here means that the blazes are going to be able to aggro on me, which is a problem. The next solution is a slightly more extreme one and does involve me adding some more pistons in here. And the problem with that is the floor around here is fairly low. We don't really have much room to do that. And that means we may potentially take ourselves out of range of the blaze spawners in here, meaning that we couldn't just stand in this room and AFK and get more blazes coming through the system, which I don't think we could really do anyway. I think right here we are just outside of the range of one or both of the spawners, which is a bit of a shame. But hey, we're not going to worry too much about that. We're just going to try and implement the best solution to our blaze aggro problem. So let's take out the floor, let's go down a couple more blocks, and let's see what we can rig up. I have a feeling this solution isn't going to work out quite as well as we'd hoped either, but what we've got right here is a bunch of pistons pushing slabs into that position that we saw earlier. Just by pushing that lever, 3 observers activate and do a 1-tick pulse to the pistons, pushing them above here. The lever actually activates a 4th slab that kind of pushes over with a single sticky piston, and then they're all retracted when we pull the lever again. And that should stop the blazes from flying back up into the system. So let's give this a try. But I have a feeling that the line of sight issue is still going to be a problem. And if they aggro other blazes that are already in the spawner, then that's going to be a bit of an issue. So let's pull the lever. Let's activate that roof over their heads. And let's see what we can do about killing them. And it looks like they're still getting aggro on me, but they're not able to hit me right now because the slabs are interfering with that. But no, when I go back up to the spawner level, it does seem like the blazes are still getting mad. It seems like the ones in there, yep, they're still very much shooting at me. In sync. Okay, time for plan C. And all plan C calls for is a little bit of extra piston shenanigans. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a sticky piston set up here, pushing a block forward whenever something steps on a pressure plate here. And the thing is, anytime a blaze drifts down here, it's just going to get pushed into the next space over. That allows us to shorten this platform to a 3-wide thing instead of adopting this L shape, meaning that when we come down here, if we want to fight all of the blazes that land on this platform, we can always just be standing in front of it. And it's the side angles and those kind of diagonals and stuff that seem to be allowing the blaze to see me. Now, I will probably, in the fullness of time, regret using a wooden pressure plate for this, but I don't really have any other options on me right now. So let's hop up onto here, grab some netherrack, peel it back up, and place a wooden pressure plate here, like so. Now, anytime anything steps on this, it's going to send an immediate redstone signal to this block powering the piston and pushing it back off again. So if a blaze lands on here, it's immediately going to be pushed into this space. And that there is no longer a valid spot for the blazes to come down into the spawner. As soon as they step on that, they're just going to be pushed forward into this section. And now we can adopt the same strategy we did before of basically walling off this section here and having it coated with iron trapdoors so that the blazes cannot see me. But in this version, I'm not going to be coming from this angle at all. We're only going to be attacking the blazes from here, and that should totally prevent them from seeing me under any circumstances. Let's hope, because I am ready to be done with this project right now. Okay, if we attack them here, I'm pretty sure none of them are aggroing on me now. That is ideal. Now, if I get a little closer to the platform, like so... Nope, looks like they still aren't seeing me. Once again, I think we'll go for a slightly longer AFK session for a larger sample size, but this is looking promising. Okay, judging from the fact that the noises keep interrupting each other, I'm fairly certain we have a large amount of blazes in the system now. And let's stand under here and see if we can attack them all without getting aggro. Okay, perfect. And the XP is flowing in at a steady rate. That's great. And I think that will actually be perfect for the farm. Now, yeah, we're going to have to do a little bit of a redesign of this area, because this whole thing is a complete mess. I mean, the staircase comes down here, and then I take a ladder, and then I go around a corner. It's clunky right now. What we really need is some kind of easy access to this spot here without having to worry about going around this labyrinth of corridors. So I'm going to do a little bit of a rejig of this off camera because, yeah, I think this whole area needs a bit of a redecorate anyway. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a minute. And after a little bit of effort and a few cups of tea, I think this is all working out pretty well. I have this whole thing kind of streamlined now, which I'm quite happy about. And I like the decorations a little better with these quartz kind of things wrapping around here. I like that a lot better than just having a big square of concrete there. It certainly helps to break up the design somewhat, and it's all going to work out pretty well. So this lever here is actually, it was a torch tower before, a redstone torch tower, alternating the signal up until it powered this block. But then I thought that doesn't really make a great deal of sense because we're controlling the flying machines from up here and then standing to AFK. So I figured what we would probably just do is make sure that the switch was just up here, accessible, and it looks like the flying machines are still working. Thank goodness for that. And hopefully they should actually pop some blazes down into the kill chamber so I can show you guys what's been going on down there. But for the most part, this thing is all ticking over quite nicely. Now we go down here. I've replaced all of the stairs and stuff with just a ladder. It's a nice kind of clean way of doing things. And down here we have some hoppers underneath these slabs, and this is on the the front side where the stairs were in the first place. I realized that all we needed to do, now that this is a little bit lower, was just open it out a little bit and have this area here be where you stand instead of on the opposite side. So that's all closed off now, and the hoppers will actually pick up blaze rods through the slabs as we kill the blazes, which we can do with a single sweep attack of the sword. Bedrock players will probably have to kill them individually, but this works really nicely as an XP farm. The XP just funnels over there. All of the blaze rods end up here in this chest, and as you can see, I have a decent amount of them now. The only problem with this, unfortunately, is that blazes will not spawn from the spawners while I'm down there in the killing room, because I'm not close enough to either of the spawners. In fact, I basically have to stand here in order to have them both activated here, or maybe a little bit further over this way. So I'm considering how I've arranged this space, and I kind of think maybe I should just bring the floor up to about this level, or maybe just install some sort of platform here, but I feel like the platform could look a little bit awkward. I'm not sure. But either way, we have a spot that we can AFK. I could even just stand here on this little quartz block, and I think that will still actually activate both of the spawners. So maybe this can be my AFK spot. I can try and make it a little bit safer just in case a blaze or something spawns down there in the corridor and decides to fireball me. But for the most part, I think this is all going very well, and I think we are ready to call it a day with this project and to move on to other things. I'm so happy that we have this blaze spawner set up finally, and we've got a way for them to not even see me. I can get right up to the trapdoor here and look at them from the side, and this blaze here isn't aggroing on me, which means he can't see me at all. Perfect. I'm so happy that we've actually managed to get this thing set up with kind of a combination of both approaches, I guess, because we had the trapdoors above our heads, and we've also arranged it so that there is a smaller space for the blazes to stand in. It really was just being around the corner that caused that problem, because you could see straight down into the area where the blazes were standing, and then they could see straight back at me. So I guess that was it. Thankfully, we've managed to get this all figured out now, and we might even need some more storage for blaze rods in here in the long term, although for now, I think I'm probably just going to open up a shulker box and take a bunch of these home with me, and then we can use them as fuel in the blacksmith, and it's going to lead to a bunch of other really cool projects, maybe some potion brewers or something like that further down the line. But that is going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss future episodes, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.